Okay, so recently, what's been going on with Twitter has been a pretty complicated thing. Well, not really complicated, but it has been a very crazy thing in most headlines, or whether it's on the app itself or on the news. It's been everywhere. If you haven't heard about it, Twitter is trying to completely rebrand itself to Twitter X, I believe. So, honestly, we need to go over this and talk about it because I just have felt the need to talk about it. I originally was going to talk about the state of Twitter when the rate limit thing was going on, but I changed my mind and I didn't really feel like it. Thankfully, I did wait because whatever's going on with Twitter now, it's pretty substantial. So, if you are wondering, uh, what we do here on the channel, we play video games. We do other things as well, but it's not about that today. Let's get into this video. So, in the first sequence of this video, how did we get here? If you're wondering how we got here, let's take you back to October of last year, which was 2022 as of this recording. Jack Dorsey is the founder of Twitter. He founded Twitter back in 2006 and was the CEO of the company from '06 all the way until last year in October, when he decided that he was going to sell his CEO role and resign. So he sold the company to Elon Musk. Of course, Elon Musk, Tesla, and SpaceX. He is now the CEO, or was for a little while. And Jack Dorsey, of course, said infamously on Twitter when it happened that he trusted Elon, and that he would do his thing and all that stuff, the typical. And obviously things haven't gone too well since Jack Dorsey has been out, which, by the way, he is at Blue Sky Social now. But a lot of unnecessary decisions have been made with Elon's tenure at Twitter, whether it's the Twitter Blue whole thing, which, by the way, effed up the verification system. Basically, the verification fundamentals on social media, basically allowing people to pay for verification. And some people kept their legacy verifications and some had it taken away. Most people had their stuff taken away, and most people may not pay for it anymore, may have lost their verification. That could be content creators, athletes, musicians, etc., etc., etc. So that whole thing happened, and that was when Elon first got there. He implemented the Twitter Blue thing, which basically $8 a month, you're verified, you get certain things, certain access to certain things and whatnot. And then there was the bookmark count on the tweets, which was pretty ridiculous. The view count on tweets and the rate limit thing that happened in early July, which was earlier this month. And this was just stuff that nobody really cared about, and it didn't really change the view of the app. And also, TweetDeck got added behind the paywall because it's with Twitter Blue now. So if you want TweetDeck, you have to pay for Twitter Blue, which is, I think, $8 a month. And like I said, it's just things that nobody really asked for in this kind of a situation. It didn't really make the app much better because the app didn't really need much, maybe an edit button, but that was it. Like, Twitter was just fine as it was. And that takes us into our next sequence of the video, making that transition into it. In sequence 2, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, there is the saying in life that goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That means if something is fine, don't mess with it, leave it alone. If your gaming console is updating and it's on rest mode, leave it on rest mode, don't unplug it. Basically, it's kind of what that means. If something is right, leave it alone and don't mess with it until something is wrong with it. And honestly, nothing was really wrong with Twitter. I mean, you could say maybe the spam and manipulation that would get handed around to random accounts, because I got hit with that on my second account that I've had. I've been on Twitter for about 6 years now. I had 2 previous accounts. The last one I had got clapped because of spam, and I didn't even do anything in that regard. But that might have been the biggest problem that I can remember, at least before Elon got here. And now, ever since Elon took over, there's the I'm the hottest 20-year-old on Onlyfans spam messages and threads, and when you put the N-word with the A at the end, you know, whether it's a message or a tweet, or reply to a tweet, in a thread, it'll be like, yo, I got guns for sale, hit my Telegram. And it's just, is all over the site. And there's even one where if you put the word hack or hacked, I believe, there's a bot that pops up as like, yo, I can help you with this if you need your account back or whatever. It's just ridiculous stuff. And that's because, you know, there had the whole thing where Elon laid off so many people earlier this year, laid them off, and so many people got fired. And you know, the people that were controlling those kind of spam messages and whatnot, they don't work there anymore. They don't work at the company. That was the night the whole goodbye Twitter thing was trending at one point. So, you know, without those workers there to help manage that, those messages are all over Twitter, and it's under every thread you look in, and it's just tiring, you know. And with the if it ain't broke, don't fix it thing, the foundation of Twitter was basically built over the last dozen years. I mean, you could probably say going back to maybe 2010 or 2011, 2012ish. The foundation of Twitter had been built up since that early 2010s time period. And the climax of Twitter, which is the peak, was basically now. Like, until Elon got there, nothing was really wrong with Twitter. You know, for the viewers, or for the people, the users, that were already on the site/app, you knew what you were getting into. And for newer users that would join, it would be pretty simple to use, and you'd get used to it pretty quickly. Twitter, that's what made it unique as well with its identity, is that it's not like the other social media apps. It's pretty simple to use. You understand it, you can interact with people, content creators, etc., but in a convenient way. And that gave it its unique identity amongst so many people in the world, millions of people that are on Twitter still, even right now. And unfortunately, that formula just got ruined. Like, Elon basically, and I put this in transition like in basketball terms, and shout out to Dom2K, by the way. Tell him Rich Boy sent you. Great content creator. Go check his stuff out. This was during the whole rate limit thing earlier this month. And I basically was saying, you know, yeah, basically Elon Musk was handed the general manager role of a team. Let's say the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets just won the NBA title, right? Let's say Elon Musk becomes the GM of the team, right? He basically decides, I don't like where this is going. I don't want Jamal Murray. I want Damian Lillard. I'm going to trade Jamal Murray and all those other guys and try to get superstars. Try to just make the team his own identity. He basically ruined a dynasty, which was Twitter. He ruined a dynasty and decided to do things his way, which is just so unserious. Like, if you just think about that, for the people that have worked at Twitter for so long, all that work going back to even when it was founded in 06, almost 2 decades, all of that hard work is just gone like that instantly. And I know change is a thing that happens all the time with most people, but again, like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You basically, with Elon, in another team term, he basically took over the Spurs and blew up the team. Let's say he took over the Spurs in 05 and became general manager. He basically traded Tony and Timmy and built around Manu, if you get what I'm saying. So that's basically what Elon did. He destroyed something that did not need to be fixed. And we get into the next sequence, which also falls under that category with the bird. Sequence 3 with the bird, basically with these changes coming, which it's already happened for most people on PC, computer, desktop, and I know for me on iOS, I haven't received the update yet, so I still have the bird on my iPhone. But for most people, you can see that there is a new logo on Twitter, which is now an X. And this is just something that they've been planning with this whole thing, and they're already starting that. It started on Monday morning with desktop. It got updated with an X logo. And it's unserious. And also, as a FYI, a fun FYI, the Twitter bird was named after Larry Bird, one of the great basketball players of all time. And with the bird, it gave Twitter an identity that was kind of like the big orange and white W in Whataburger, or the big golden M in McDonald's. When you see those two logos, you think of those restaurants. You think of things that you ate over there, like the Southern Bacon Double at Whataburger. You think of that, or the Big Mac at McDonald's. It gave those things an identity. It basically is like the Pillsbury Doughboy. Like, that's another example. He gives you an identity that's cool with the brand that you're with. With Pillsbury, they make all the cookies and biscuits and all that, and you get that identity that's unique to that brand. And with Twitter, with the bird, it was very unique because it's called Twitter, and also the bird looks pretty cool. I think it's a simple logo, it's not too complicated. And unfortunately, we're replacing it with an X, which I don't get any sort of an identity when I see the letter X, which we'll get into in the next sequence. And losing that identity, obviously, it's a sign that things are going to be changing. What Dr. Umar said, for good. Now, we get into the next sequence. That's the X. This sequence isn't going to be that long. This is a terrible idea. Look, all right. Adding on to what I said in the last sequence, the X has no unique identity. You see Twitter, you think of, oh, just simple, I know what I'm getting to. You see Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook, you know what you're getting into, right? With this X, it looks like a porn site or a porn app, which you got to be down bad to have a porn app on your phone. You need to seek help at that point. There ain't no way you should have that kind of an app on your phone. But the letter X usually is affiliated with porn sites. Like, it's just very unfortunate, because if you upload a video to Twitter, would it be an X video? Like, you see what I'm getting at? And it's not really it. Hopefully this whole thing just blows up. Hopefully we don't have to deal with these changes. But like I said, it sounds like a porn website. When I see the letter X, I don't think of Twitter. Like, you just don't. And no one will get used to that. I mean, and you add on to the fact that Elon Musk, before we get into the last sequence, he's not even the CEO anymore. In fact, the CEO of the company is now Linda Yaccarino, I believe. She worked at NBC Marketing, I think, at one point. She's the CEO now, and Elon is kind of like the COO, kind of like the coach, the co-op kind of guy, like, I'm here as your guard, kind of just keep an eye out. So that's another thing that just sucks for Twitter situation. And then we get into the last sequence, which sums everything up, that things will be changing just as much as the next man. I really hope that these changes don't go through. I hope they don't last long, because for me, for the 5 years I've been, 6 years, 2017 was 6 years ago. God damn, dude, time moving too fast, man. But I just hope these changes don't get too extreme. Like I said before in sequence 2, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But apparently Elon and Linda, they want to make this app something that can do everything in one. And I get that you want innovation. I understand sometimes you need to be innovative with yourself or with whatever you're doing. And that's understandable for a lot of things in life. If you want to change up your situation, you could do that. That's innovative stuff, and it's fine. You want to innovate your diet, eat some other stuff, eat better, that's good. But in this situation, you're trying to be innovative with an app that did not need to be innovative. The innovation for Twitter was basically all of the hard work that Jack Dorsey and all the other workers put in over the last, I'd say we'll just say the last 14 years. That was basically the innovation of Twitter, and where we were with Twitter was basically the climax. And now it's only going down from here. It's like what we used to do in reading class or English class, and they talk about the climax and everything upward to that and then downward. We're basically on the downward half of the climax now, because Twitter is not going to be the same thing as it once was. And it sucks because, like I said, it was the most convenient app on social media. Very simple. You get used to it for current users and people that would join in the latter half of the years, and that's what gave it its identity. And now with that happening, people are going to be looking for the next big app, kind of like Twitter. And right now, Blue Sky probably might be that thing, because Jack Dorsey is at Blue Sky now. So maybe Blue Sky. Threads needs some significant updates to it, but Threads has potential as well, but like we need basic things like being able to zoom in on pictures on there and saving posts and using hashtags, having a trending section. The innovation of Twitter basically gave people a blueprint as to what you need to do to create a great social media website / app. And now somebody else is going to have to duplicate that and make it on their own platform. And you know what is crazy with Elon? He could have did this on his own app, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know, but I'm pretty sure Tesla and SpaceX, they probably have apps on the App Store. He easily could have made his own app, started his own thing without interfering with a site that was one of the best, if not the best, social media websites in the world. And, you know, I remember I made a prediction to myself, and just as a thought, last year when Elon bought the company and was sold to him, I made a prediction that it would be behind a paywall after Twitter Blue. And it's pretty close because, you know, there are limitations now with DMs, I believe, on Twitter. You can only DM a certain amount of people in a day unless you have Twitter Blue. I think with X, we're probably going to see the same thing, or with Twitter X, once it's completely revamped and Twitter loses the identity of what it once was. We're just going to see a completely different app / website, and it'll probably be very, very limited for people that don't pay for it. It'll probably be the same thing, Twitter Blue or X Blue or Twitter X Blue or whatever. You pay $8 a month, you get unlimited features. If you don't pay, you're very limited. That's probably what Twitter X will be if it completely revamps. And hopefully I am wrong, because it just sucks, man. But just be prepared for these changes. Changes that really weren't needed. The innovation of Twitter was the last 14 years. We were on the climax, and now we are on the downward half of the climax. And it only goes down from here. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all in the next video. Alright, one other thing I did want to add on to in this video, which I forgot to say when I was recording, and I said it but not really in specific, that Twitter was the best place to communicate with people over the internet, and it's not even close. Whether it was for presidential events, campaigns, sports events, sad events, anything with breaking news, or with the Ukraine thing that's been going on for the last years, anything. It was so convenient to use Twitter in those situations. Like, for an example, I'm a Spurs fan in the NBA, not the football team or soccer in the US. Here in Louisiana, where I am, before I got on Twitter, I knew of really no Spurs fans outside, literally outside. Like, I knew of no Spurs fans. Anybody that's fans of somebody out here is usually a player. You know, your Kevin Durant's, your LeBron's, and obviously team fans would be the Pelicans and the Lakers, or the Mavericks or the Rockets. And when I got on Twitter, it gave me a new sense of there's so many Spurs fans out there in the world. And it's just so crazy. There's Spurs fans that are in Australia, China, the Virgin Islands, Canada. There are fans everywhere. And that made it so cool to interact with them during games, maybe get their thoughts about certain things. And you can say the same thing for content creators, getting to interact with a content creator that you've been watching for so long. Like, I remember when Chris Smoove was streaming on Twitch, which was, I think, last year in late 2021, I want to say. I would send screenshots like when he had 2008 subscribers or 2014 subscribers or whatever. I screenshot that and he would like and retweet, and that would be so awesome just to say like, hey, I appreciate what you've done for me and everything like that. And I mean, that interaction, you can't really get that very simple or simply and easily anywhere else. And in another example, when news events with Twitter, like when the 2020 election happened, I was keeping my eye out on Twitter at the electoral maps, and it was very unique to use in that kind of a situation. You can't get that basic simplicity of communicating with people on any other app. You can say Facebook, but it is not as simple as Twitter. See y'all in the next video.